I'll be your tour guide today. We've got a beautiful day here in Skagway. Yeah, this is beautiful. This is somewhere in Alaska, folks. This is great. We get lots of rain here in Skagway. We get about 180 days of measurable rainfall every year. Yeah, that's it. So on the right hand side here, you'll notice some paintings on the rocks. Any guesses what those are? Yeah, they are paintings on the rocks. Good. No, actually, every time a cruise ship sinks while they're here in port, they put the name of the ship there on the rocks. Actually, every time a new cruise ship comes into port for the first time, they send someone off the ship to paint the name of the captain, the logo, and the date that they came in for the first time to Skagway. So it's a really cool way to keep track of who's been here when they first started coming. But then on the right hand side here, we have a very large landslide that happened in August of last year, so about a year ago. It covered this whole dock, and you weren't actually able to dock ships here anymore, so they had to tender in the ships for the rest of the year. But they've been working really hard to make it safe to drive on. So this is the railroad dock, it's called. There are 3 docks here, so we can have 4 ships in Skagway at any one time. That's what we have today. Luckily, 2 of the ships are a little bit smaller. They hold about 700 people each, so there's not that many people in town today. But on a 4-ship day when the Norwegian Bliss is in, we'll have about 15,000 people walking the streets of Skagway. Speaking of how many people are in Skagway, the population of Skagway is 800 year-round residents. During the summertime, the population goes up to about 2,500 people due to all the people who come here to work for the summer tourism industry. But Skagway's a really cool little town with lots of history, and we're going to learn about lots of the history today. We're going to go to the Mercantile, where you're going to watch a really well done presentation about the history of Skagway. It's very informative, very good. And then from there we're going to head up to Canada, where you're going to get on the train and ride the train back here to Skagway. Now that is the best way to do it, I promise. But as we're going up the mountain, I'll be talking the whole time, narrating, telling you a lot about the history, and it's going to be a great day. But as we pull into the Mercantile, I want you to, as you get off the bus, you're going to look at my face, okay? I want you to remember my face, because we're on a tour with this bus up ahead of us. It's the same tour, and he looks very similar to me. People think he's my brother. We're not related at all, but he has blonde hair, and that's what makes people think he looks similar. So look for Matt in bus 108 when you're done here. And we want you to get back on the right bus. But Skagway is part of the Klondike Gold Rush National Historical Park. And so the National Park Service actually maintains a lot of these buildings that we're going to see today. They keep them looking like as they would have looked during the gold rush. They keep them in great shape. They restored them. It's really a cool looking town. I like it a lot. But so you're going to get off the bus here, you're going to follow a man, he'll be waving a hat at you, and you're going to go follow him into the theater. And then once the show is over, if you'll get back on my bus, unfortunately there's not time to go to the coffee shop, so if you'd like to go get coffee, you need to go get coffee during the show, and you'll miss out on the show. So it's up to you what you want to do, but once the show is over, you need to get back on my bus. It's about a 13-minute presentation. Park there. Really great information. It is free to go in. They have a really cool boat thing that you watch a video in the boat. Kind of feels like you're moving. It doesn't really move, but if you use your imagination, it does. And then also up here, the red building on the left is the visitor center for the national park as well. So those are both free to go in. Very good information. Now, as we're going, if you want to have side conversations, that's totally fine. Just keep the volume low so that others around you can hear what I'm saying if they want to listen. But we're gonna come and tour this street. Because of the laws here, I have to make this weird little loop. They don't have a lot to do with the lawmakers, so they make laws that sometimes don't make much sense. But buses over 27 feet are not allowed to turn right on that street. And I'm 45 feet. The mayor of the town owns a company that she has buses that are 26 and a half feet. So that's where the 27 feet number comes from. But on the left there, that's the gas station. $4 a gallon for gas is the price, which I've heard isn't much less than the lower 48 right now, or much more. I haven't been down there for a while, so not quite sure the prices. Since May I've been here, but. As we turn left here onto Broadway Street, this is the historic street of town. I'll be doing a tour of the town. It's about 7 blocks. This is historic downtown. This is the part that is maintained by the Park Service. As we make the turn on the right-hand side, you're going to see a statue. That statue is of a Native American man guiding a gold rush miner up the trail. That backpack would have about 60 to 80 pounds in it. It was made of wood. It was basically a wooden crate. And then on our right-hand side here as well, we have the rotary plow. That train car would plow the snow off the train tracks. It can plow 12 feet of snow off the tracks at any one time. It does still function, but they no longer use it because they don't run the train in the wintertime anymore. But it would be pushed by 3 locomotives. It took 13 people to run that car. But here is historic Broadway Street. Beautiful street, very well maintained, very clean, you'll notice. On the left here, this is the Red Onion Saloon. It is the first brothel in Skagway. You see the red lights up in the windows there. They do a brothel tour for $10, takes about 20 minutes. That's about the same price and time limit you would have paid and been given during the gold rush. But the services differ greatly today. But you do tour the brothel. It's pretty interesting, very sad tour. They do tours on the hour, every hour. But this is the Mascot Saloon on our right-hand side there. It is the most famous saloon in Skagway of the 80 that were here during the gold rush. The Klondike Gold Rush happened from 1897 to 1899, and there were over 20,000 people living in Skagway at that time. So they had 80 saloons here. The Mascot was the only one that was able to stay open up until Prohibition. But of the 80 saloons, they've all turned to jewelry stores like the ones we see on our right there. We have 28 jewelry stores in Skagway, and I really have no idea why. But then on the right-hand side here we have the hardware store. That is our version of Walmart right there. If they don't have it, you don't need it, folks. It's very expensive and it takes a long time to get things up here, so they stock everything from school supplies to yard equipment to outdoor supplies, bathroom supplies, things like that. It's also an Ace Hardware, so lots of hardware stuff there. But the nearest Walmart's in Whitehorse, Yukon, in Canada. It's 2.5 hours away. It takes, and that's also where the nearest movie theater is, and the nearest stoplight is all in Whitehorse, Canada. But this is what the town would have looked like during the gold rush. These buildings would have been false fronts and then tents behind them, and they've since added the backs to all the buildings, and they've all been moved actually. But on the right, this red building is the Fraternal Order of Eagles Hall, home to the longest running musical on Broadway Street. It's the Days of 98 show. It's an hour of non-jewelry store fun about the history of Skagway. But on the left, we have entered the financial district of Skagway, the Wells Fargo there. And now we are exiting the financial district of Skagway. That is the only bank here. So it used to be Bank of Alaska, but it has since changed to Wells Fargo. But this is 7th Avenue right here. This is the top of historic downtown. On the right, this is Bearhead Photography right there. He's an award-winning National Geographic photographer. Beautiful photos in there. I just like to go look around in there. But not really.
มันจะไม่เห็นอะไรเลยนะครับเพราะว่าข้างหลังหมอกลงน้ำนิดนึง
Customs, folks. We're going to come up here to this pullout until the train pulls in, and so you can get out and take some pictures. You will be able to see something, so that's great. This is the Fraser pullout. Once you hear the train whistle, though, maybe start making your way back to the bus. We do. It'll be a few minutes before the train's ready to go after it pulls in, so it's not a huge rush, but we do want to get down there and get a spot. So just make sure you get back on my bus, bus 108. I'm just going to be stay parked right here. It's a beautiful view of Lake Bernard. And they've got some really great informational signs there as well. So feel free to get out here. But this is most likely the last time you'll see me, so don't really look for me. I probably will not be there, but those are your two options. It's about a 25 to 30 minute walk depending on how quickly you do it from the train to your ship. So it's not too bad, and there are shuttles to take you back to your ship. If you decide you don't want to walk all the way back there, they're $2 each way or $5 for an all-day pass. They're called Smart Bus Shuttles, and they pick up all over Broadway Street. Do a little off-roading today in our 56 passenger coach. So you're probably wondering how this train turns around. The engine has actually detached from the front of the train. It's going to come on this second set of tracks that parallels the tracks, go down a little further, get on the original set of tracks, and hook back to what was the back of the train, making it the front of the train. That's how they turn it around. And then they're going to go through and clean all the seats. Everyone on the train is going through customs right now, and then they're flipping all the seats so you don't have to ride down backwards. But it's really, really slick how they do it. And that's how over 1 million people ride this train every year. It's the largest excursion in southeastern Alaska. But I am going to go talk to the train master, get our car assignment. I don't know which car you'll be in right now, so just hang tight here for a minute. If you need the bathroom, there's one on the
back. Skagway, Alaska. That's 3,000 feet in descent down the coastal mountain range, down to Tidewater, elevation 0, or Skagway, Alaska. Hello everyone, my name is Justin, and I'll be the narrator and the tour guide for the entire train. And since I'm kind of stuck here in the middle and can't make my way around too much, I have two other tour guides here in my stead. Two of my greatest friends, Austin and Dimitri, and they'll be coming through your train cars here to greet you if they have not done so already, to explain the amenities of the train and to supplement the tour by answering any questions you may have. like to do the very same for less fortunate inner city boys from his hometown of Detroit during the Great Depression. He had somehow made himself into a wealthy coal baron during this time, so he would sponsor about 50 boys to come up here and adventure around the mountains of Alaska. Now, George had a mind that thought he was working very hard for your dollar, so he would have the boys go from door to door selling kitchen supplies, amongst some other things, to help raise 1/3 of the cost of the trip on their own, just as he had when he was a boy. Now, hopefully the fans would chip in the other 1/3, and then George himself would cover the rest. Now, this went on for about 15 summers, and eventually the sisters of the boys got to join in on the grand adventure as well.
Some hikers out there right now. We are actually going to be making a stop here, just like we did a few miles back. We're going to stop to pick up these hikers and let them on the train so we can take them down to Skagway. Once again, just like before, as we come to a stop and start, there may be a few bumps and jolts, so please be aware of that. Also, this is not an opportunity to get off the train. We'll only be stopped for a couple of minutes before moving on.